Right, young Warren, we are live.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone out there. It's our second week of doing success. What's it called again? Successcafe.tv. Okay. And you thought I'd forgotten, didn't you? You're right. No, I'm only joking. So, we're going to get straight into it this week. And the subject is what motivates individuals to achieve. And it will be different for every single person. So what you will learn on this call is what will drive you to stretch for high levels of achievement. What is the one word that matters to you that you should fully focus on and keep in the forefront of your mind all the time? And what is the one thing that you need to do to break out and win? So they're the three things we're hopefully going to answer. And I'm sure you'll let us know if we don't. And so as you come on, please say hello and give us a comment. Tell us where you're calling in from, what area you're from, what country you're from, and then we can involve you in it as well. And if you've got any questions or observations, please let us know. So what motivates individuals to achieve? So let's deal with the first question I said. The first question was, what would drive you and me and Warren to stretch for high levels of achievement? What do you think that may be, Mr. Connolly?
Oh, me. I think most importantly is probably necessity. A case of necessity.
Spot on. Yeah. It's got to be something that you want to do or you have to do. Okay. Now, none of us like things that we must do. We like to do things that we like to do. So again, it's important that it resonates with inside you, whatever it is that you've got to do and what you're aiming for. Mm-hmm. And the only way you'll do that if it's necessary and you need to do it. Okay, for whatever reason it is. So what could be some of the reasons that you could think of that would make something necessary? And it could be anything for this first bit, anything at all. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurship or anything.
Yeah. I mean, it could be health-related reasons. Yeah. Somebody could have a heart attack. They could have a car accident, motorbike accident, something. They fall downstairs and they realize that they need to change their life and they have to push themselves out of their barrier, out of that comfort zone. Yeah. I've seen it happen. People they just get confronted with something and they all of a sudden they all they want to do is excel in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it could be that you go to the fridge and it's empty.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
It's going to motivate you to do something, right?
Yeah, but to be fair, I keep my fridge pretty empty anyway. But I hate wasting food. I like to eat everything.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I don't like wasting food. Oh man!
And it's not a greedy thing. It's I just think that it's not about it's not about the starving children in Africa, as my mum used to say to me. Although that was extremely important. It was about not wasting food, not wasting money. Why would you want to do that? Otherwise, you might as well go along the road, digging in your pocket every person you see and giving them a £5 note or a $5 note or
why not?
Or is it 50 rand? I don't know how that works. But or euros. Is it euros in Hungary?
The forint.
The florent.
Forint.
Okay.
Yeah, forint. Hungarian forint.
Okay.
Yeah, so in some regards it's a good thing that they've kept it. In other aspects, it's not a good thing. But yeah.
Okay.
But you're 100% right. I mean, and this is also very often the reason why people they never want to be confronted with a scenario of necessity either. And
that will tie in with what the third thing we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah.
Very much so. But with necessity is the starting point. Okay, you've maybe identified a problem that you need to take care of. And that's really in a nutshell, isn't it? It's the same. It's the same as any sales. What do salespeople do, or what does a shop do? They identify a need in the market, or something that people need,
Yes.
a gap in the market, and that's where success can happen if they do the right things. Unfortunately, most people. Now, obviously, this is an entrepreneurial show, so most people are uninspired. Okay, we sit there and we watch television. Hey, look, everything I talk about, I've done. I may not be doing it at the present moment, but I've done. So it's all based on things I've done wrong and or not done. So, and same for you as well, I would imagine. But most people are uninspired. They don't want to do anything. They maybe they get in from work and they shut the door and think, oh God, I've got 16 hours or 14 hours before I have to go back to work, or however long it is, might even less than that. And they're just not inspired to do anything else. So it's a rare individual that actually becomes inspired and actually does something. So what you need to do, everyone needs to do, is ask themselves the questions. Am I inspired to actually do something different? So if you wanted an extraordinary life, you would need to do something a little bit different and a little bit more. In fact, a lot more. So
and what inspires you in the same breath? Am I inspired? Yes or no? If not, what inspires me?
Yeah, absolutely. It's look, I've had times in the past, quite a few, where you're overdrawn. You've got more. There's more month at the end of the money, as they call it. And and you close your eyes to it some of the time. Some people close their eyes to it all the time. Until it becomes really, really a big problem. And so
then invariably it's too late.
Yeah,
for many
but
people.
But the question is necessity enough?
Of course not.
No, it's not.
And I mean, you can have two people. You can have two people being swept away by the tide or the current in the sea, and they're both in exactly the same spot, but so they're both in a spot of necessity. They need to do something in order to survive, otherwise they will drown and die.
Yeah.
But there'll be one individual that will carry both of them through that. One individual will actually push the other one to live and to survive. All right, and that's what the next one is. That's what I believe. What you're trying to, where you're leading towards, where the next one comes from. Yeah, it's the why.
Yeah. You've jumped ahead, Mr. Connolly, but that's fine.
I know you were going to ask me, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean the why is crucial. It's vital. But see, you've got to ask yourself the other question is: do you show up for your life? Are you? Is it interesting? Is it exciting? Is it Is it just mediocre? And are you going through the motions? A lot of people, they get to 21. You'll laugh at this, but they die mentally. And that's probably one of the worst things. You see it all the time. It could even be something like obesity or something like that. They get to a stage to think, well, I'm happy as I am. Well, if that is true, then that's great. I don't, you can't criticize people if they want to live their life a certain way, then that's fine. But please don't complain.
Well, it's not about don't complain, but don't fool yourself. That's more important.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. So that would have been my next bit. Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on there, Warren. It's about, don't complain about how things are for you. Do something about it.
Yeah.
Do something about it. Now, it may be extremely hard to do something about it. I don't know. I don't know your circumstances. But at least, have the gumption to try, Now, look, you don't have to jump out of your pit every day when it's raining, but it may be a good idea to do that.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Because I remember going out, and I always go back to the sporting thing, because it's the same whether you're being an entrepreneur or sport, because you have to get out your own way, basically, and do something a little bit more, a little bit above what you've been doing before. You need to set the bar higher. For most people, the bar is on the floor or very close to it, where anybody can walk over it. But you take a look at an Olympic high jumper, and there's very, very few people can jump over 2 meters.
Oh, very few people. That's why they're Olympic jumpers.
Absolutely. The technique is amazing, but that's another story. But have you thought about becoming Sorry, go on, Warren. No, go on.
No, that analogy that you use with the bar as well, I like it, because another way to put that is too many people set their bar too low. They keep tripping over that bar, and then they bitch and moan and complain about why they keep tripping over the bar, yet they don't think to move the bar.
Yeah.
They either take the bar out of the equation or lift it up so you don't have to trip over it anymore. And by lifting it up, you're actually pushing yourself to a new level. As an analogy, or as a hypothetical scenario. In Africa, there's a proverb. It's like, whenever you trip and fall, look back at what caused you to trip in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't do something about it, then you've got no right to complain.
That's right. Well, yeah, that's the first thing, is awareness, isn't it? Awareness of where you are and what you need to do, either to improve things or move the dial, move the needle on the dial.
And this is the other dichotomy in life, Paul, is that people don't realize that there's a duality to everything.
Yeah.
There's the yin and the yang for everything in life. Doesn't matter what it is. So they think that they just need to resign themselves to the fact that, that bar is going to be low for the rest of my life and I'm going to keep tripping over it. And they don't realize that they have a choice to actually move the bar. Whether they move it out of the way or lift it up, raise the bar, and then create an easier life for themselves. And this is the thing, is that the moment you raise that bar, life becomes so much easier. It really does, because the challenges that you're faced with are put in your place in front of you, because your maker, God, the universe, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, whoever you want to look at, whatever label you want to give to that, they put that in front of you. The universe will put it in front of you only because it knows that you cannot overcome that challenge.
Yeah.
You can overcome that challenge. But people don't realize that. They think that this is it. This is my lot in life, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as I say, I've had times where I've gone very quiet, not had any goals, and really just wanted to keep going, and sometimes you can do that without even realizing it as well. So, but there have also been times when you've achieved well and quite highly, and nobody knows you like you. That means the people we're talking to, myself, you talking about yourself. Nobody knows but you. What you do, what you don't do. And you're the one who's got to face yourself in the mirror, as I always say, and you can't lie to yourself. You just can't get away with it, because you won't let yourself get away with it. And but yet some do. The majority of people don't achieve anything. And I'm not talking about becoming a millionaire here or anything like that. But if you were, let's say, for argument's sake, that you earned £500 a week in your job, so it's £2,000 a month. And you set yourself a goal of maybe adding 1,000 a month to that. That is superb. Yeah. That is brilliant. And I'll tell you what, most people won't do that. So, but the thing that will keep you going is the thing you alluded to, and that is your why. Mm-hmm. Okay, what is going to make you, or what is going to drive you forward to reach whatever it is that you want to do, you know? And it can only come from the inside. It's not external. Or normally, there may be some external factors, but generally speaking, it's what's in here, in your heart.
It's momentary. It's momentary if it's external.
Yeah.
I think it was Jim Rohn that once said, one of my first motivational and personal development teachers said that motivation is like brushing your teeth. You have to do it every day.
Yeah.
Or just brush your teeth or taking a bath. Motivation is like taking a bath. You got to do it every day. And this is the thing, and you got to keep reminding yourself, even if you do have a why. What is your why? You got to remind yourself every day. What is your why? Yeah, and even if your why really gets you out of bed every day, inspired and driven to succeed and excel and make a difference in people's lives, you've got to keep reminding yourself of that every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, it will fade away. You will forget. You will take it for granted, and you will lose the power behind that why. And eventually, that why will just slowly start to disappear into the background of your life, and you will become complacent and and so forth. So this is your why is imperative, and it's not just there's a thing with the why that I think a lot of people have become a bit cynical about in recent times, in the last couple of years or so, is because you've got like Simon Sinek, who talks about your why all the time. Mm-hmm. All right. And because of him coming out and talking about it a lot, and other people in our field, in our industry, and other areas of industry where people are, you're training or motivating or driving other people, we talk about the why a lot. And I think a lot of cynics or people that have not quite understood what we're talking about, when they hear that, they think, your why, and it really is important. Because it's not just a catchphrase. It's not just some cool expression to use that is like it's a passing phase. You know what I mean? It's not that. Your why is really what drives it, and this has been in existence since man has been motivated to create the wheel or set a bush on fire on a regular basis. Really, why? The reason why caveman discovered how to and wanted to figure out how to create fire for themselves, their why was big. They wanted to stay warm at night and be able to perhaps explore what the fire could do for them, because they could see that it would burn you, and it would keep you warm. So their why was huge. Mm-hmm. Why did people invent the wheel? Because it would make life much easier for themselves, and they would be able to accomplish tasks a lot quicker and a lot faster by having the wheel around. So this was their driving factor. What their why was so big. So the why has been around for eons, but we've just never referred to it as your why until recent times. So
yeah. I mean, there is another way you can say it. You could say, what are your extremely strong reasons for wanting to do this or that? So strong reasons is another example. And I mean, you can look, there's millions and millions of examples, but for some reason I this sort of thought of this, and I don't know why. I was thinking of Troy. Okay, what would make I think I'm right in saying I don't know which one was. I think Troy was Turkish. I think it's in Turkey. And I think that the Greeks came over to attack Troy because someone allegedly, didn't work like that, but someone stole a wife.
Yes.
Okay. So I think she wanted to go. So
she wanted to go based on the story. Based on the story, yeah.
Yeah. So based on the story, and they found a way of getting in this impregnable fort or city, and they did it by subterfuge. By leaving, making out that they were beaten and gone home, and left a present for them. Which is the Trojan horse. Yeah. And so they're thinking, the Greeks were thinking, and it worked. It worked a dream, because they took it into the city walls, and when it was quiet at night, they all jumped out the horse, or 20 or 30 of them or whatever, and let all the Greek soldiers who'd come back, and they didn't realise they'd come back.
They sacked the city.
Yeah. So, it's important that they had a necessity that then morphed into a why.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's no necessity, there's no action and no results. But going back to what we said, if you have necessity, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be there, because you'll put some action in and you'll get some results. But if the necessity becomes a why, you're going to put massive action into it and you're going to get massive results. Now, nothing's guaranteed, because there are other factors in play, like your mindset and your attitude and how you come across to people and whatever. But, it has to be a burning desire. It has to be something that is, banging away inside you, said, I must do this. It borders on obsession. I hate to say the word obsession, because we start thinking about murderers and things like that. But no, but it's not a stalking obsession. It's an obsession to get the job done. All right, and it's not at all costs. It doesn't have to be at all costs, but it needs to be very strong enough so that you are prepared to get up and get wet every morning. Like I did when I was training for the marathon. I didn't care what the weather's like. My goal was written down. My plan was written down, and I was going to do it regardless. I didn't care what the weather was. Didn't even think about it.
You say that. I saw an elderly guy. Now, it's been raining here for 3 days nonstop. Okay. And this morning, after I dropped Laura off at school, back on the way down the mountain, I saw an elderly gentleman, and he was running in the pouring rain. Yeah. And you could see he's not a healthy man just by his movement, and the size of his body. He's not a healthy man, but he clearly has a goal and a dream and a why big enough to not prevent him from going out in the pouring rain to run and to get to whatever his goal is. You could see that clearly. Well, I could at least.
Yeah.
But
some things are amazing, aren't they?
Say again. Some things
are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Just defy logic, defy what the average person will do or won't do.
Well, I mean, and it goes. I've told you this story before in private, but when I was in Dubai, I was introduced to a gentleman who's wheelchair bound. Okay, he had a motorbike accident, and we're friends now, and he said to me that he only has movement above from his chest up. And he said to me one day, he said, I want to be able to utilize every muscle that I can still use to its maximum ability. And I want you to help me to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started to train together. And then he started to do triathlons, and we were training to get into the Paralympic Games in Rio in 2016. Right? In the same breath, he introduced me to another gentleman who's also wheelchair bound. He also had a motorbike accident. He's also paralyzed from below the chest. Very similar injury. But his motivation was nowhere near the same as my friend, Chris. Okay? It's just not. He didn't have that drive, that why, that deep-seated ambition to be able to take the opportunity for what he was presented with and make the most out of it. He just didn't have that same ambition. Nice guy, but not the same ambition. So it's his why is just not strong enough. It really isn't.
Oh, absolutely. And you find that, I would say you find that a vast majority of people. It's all it varies. It varies from 0 to 100, obviously. But the higher you go, the less people there are.
Yeah.
So
the fewer there are. The fewer there are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also to do with what are you utilizing here that's impacting you here. Yeah, your subconscious, the organ for the subconscious is your solar plexus. The organ for your consciousness is your brain. All right. So if your brain is constantly telling you negative stuff and negative you're accepting negative feedback and information all the time, or whatever feedback it is and information you're receiving. No matter who you are, if you want it bad enough, you will take anything positive and convert that into a negative, if that's where you are. So what are you putting inside? What are you allowing inside here? And what communication are you sending down to the solar plexus? In case people don't know, the solar plexus is right at the base of the chest. Okay, that's your subconscious. And how does that feel? Does that feel like a heavy, dark, black stone, or does it feel light and open? And this is an indicator as to where are you consciously and subconsciously in your space, wherever you are right now.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. If this feels heavy, then you need to start whatever communication is coming into here. You need to stop immediately and change that communication, because otherwise you will never be motivated enough to achieve your own greatness or your own abilities as an entrepreneur or whatever the case may be. It just won't happen.
I would say, as an individual, you, me, everyone that listens to this has an obligation to themselves to take things as far as you possibly can do it. It makes life interesting. It makes life a joy to do things. But then, to take it to the upper levels, you've got to have some kind of sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you haven't got the urgency, you won't get it done. Because I can assure you, if you're building a business, you've got to have that sense of urgency. Otherwise, it'll take too long. You'll lose interest. You'll switch off, and ultimately you'll leave it where it is. So you don't want to get to the stage where you are regretting life, like I should have done this and I should have done that. I think that is so sad. And to be fair, I'm not saying I haven't asked myself that question sometimes, because I haven't done what is required, because there are times, and I'm sure we've all done it. It's just some do it more than others. So,
it's fine, but you can't afford to live in regret.
No, you can't.
You can't.
No.
Whether you've done what you set out to do or not, you cannot afford to live in regret. It's the past. You must take the lesson from that and move on. Otherwise, keep yourself in the past.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can all sit there and be in a pity party, as they used to call it, and woe is my life, and this happened to me and that happened to me. And I've been there. I don't do it. I wouldn't do it very often, but there has been times when I've done that, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, this happened, that happened, and then it followed up with that as well, and that. It's just the way it is. You just got to ride it. You got to ride it out and then overcome. And I've got a thing I've just written down here that I've said before, but I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to say it twice, and if you could say this to yourself, then maybe you can overcome anything. I feel a deep emotional drive and commitment to succeed. Okay? Think about that. It consistently forces me to work hard, stay disciplined, and push myself. I feel a deep emotional drive and commitment to succeed. It consistently forces me to work hard, stay disciplined, and push myself. Say that to yourself 10 times, 20 times a day. And then tell me at the end of the week, right, that you don't feel different.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've got to attach something to it, because it won't work. It's got to be something inside of you that thinks, I want to lose a bit of weight. I want to get a little bit fitter. I want to go and run a mile in for some people, I want to go run a mile in 10 minutes, 8 minutes.
I want to be earning £1,000 extra a month.
Yeah, it's going to be different for everyone, but again, it's very, very important that you get to the place that you want to be. Okay, so it's another word for why would be your purpose, your outcome. What is it that you want to aim for? Okay, so
I've been working on this a lot recently. in the last week.
Yeah.
My purpose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Doing a lot of work on that recently.
You've got to, right. If you've got a why, you've got to refer to it every day.
Yeah.
It's got to be at the forefront. Write it down. Stick it everywhere. Your why. What is your why? Okay. So I'll guess that part of your why, Warren, you don't have to share it at all, would be your child and your wife.
Oh yes.
Precisely. Oh, yes. So we're not talking about things that are never going to come into your mind. These things should be in your mind all the time, but you never maybe looked at it as a why.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned this, because it's something I was going to bring up when the time was right, and now the time is right. Part of my why is most definitely my family, my wife and my daughter. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And people typically in life, that generally, and I'm sure you understand this as well, is that they think, tomorrow, and they think that they've got all the time in the world to do it. Now, if you are a father, and part of your why to succeed in life is for your children or your child,
yeah,
how do you know you're going to be around tomorrow?
That's right.
You take it for granted, right? So if you're not striving to do something to leave a legacy for your children every day, in the event that you will succeed at some point, who knows when it will happen? It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may take 3 years, but at least you know then by that stage that you're still around. But if you're not striving every day to do something so that you can leave that legacy for your children, that if tomorrow something happens and you're gone, you've got a nest egg that's there for them.
Yeah.
You understand? That's going to be your legacy for them, that they will remember, Dad made sure that financially we were okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is what we take it for granted. We think, I'll do it next year. Who the F knows we're going to be around next year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, your why, it trumps necessity. Okay, yeah. And the necessity is good, but it's not everything. The why can be everything, and it's going to be. I say things are going to be different for everyone.
What's your why, Paul?
My why is my 3 children, my 7 grandchildren, and 2 great grandchildren. Obviously, ever growing, so it will change. But mine's to leave a legacy income, without a shadow of a doubt. And I've made loads of mistakes in my life. Trust me. I mean, bigger mistakes than probably anyone would ever know. But you can try to do is your best, and then some.
And then some, yeah.
And then some. You got to stretch again and again. Stretch as long as you know that. But we talk about stretching, but you stretch up for something. But there's loads more inches. There's loads more inches that you can actually stretch up to. And that's what you should be doing. Doing your best that you can. When you feel like quitting, that's when the why kicks in.
Oh yeah, because when you feel like quitting, I can tell you right now that success is just around the corner.
Yeah,
it's literally there.
It was that classic thing with the gold rush, wasn't there? Where someone worked for 10 years and they were sort of within about that much of the vein of gold, and then they sold their mine, and whoever turned up got their gold pretty quickly. Now you could work all your life and not hit that vein of gold. We know that. But, how dedicated are you?
And in terms of inspiration and motivation, acres of diamonds, sorry.
Yeah.
You know the story, Acres of Diamonds?
Yes, yeah.
So for those that don't know,
I've read the book.
Yeah, I've read the book as well, yeah. So the man goes search for diamonds, living around the river Ibris, yeah. So it's in the Iran area.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes searching for diamonds off his farm and leaves his children in the care of somebody, Yeah. He goes around. He goes to Europe. The priest that would regularly visit this man comes to the farm to check up on the sons.
Yeah.
And the man that was looking after the farm now for him, he goes out into the farm one day, notices with a camel, notices a shining rock in the river, picks it up, takes it back to the house, doesn't know what it is. The priest comes, sees a shining rock on the mantelpiece, above the fireplace, asks him, where did he find this? He said, I found it in the stream on the land. And it was a huge diamond. And basically his whole farm was a diamond mine, and the man ended up dying in the Bay of Biscay off the Spanish coast, drowning himself in the sea because, at the end of the day, he'd lost all hope and lost all touch with reality because he went searching for the diamonds out there where the diamonds were right where he was in the first place.
Yeah.
And this is unfortunately, it's a great analogy and it's a great story, but this is unfortunately the reality of so many people. In particular men in particular always keep going searching for greatness out there where it's right here inside of them.
Well, the classic example is someone who has a love affair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean the diamond is at home. But it could be. But it could be. So okay, Simon, talk about Simon Sinek. I've got a thing he did here. People don't buy what you do or how you do it. They buy why you do it. They buy your passion. They buy your purpose. They buy your mission. He goes on to say, purpose should permeate everything you do. Every decision should be looked at in the terms of purpose, your why. Okay? That's what drives people. It's not, it's not what it's like being in sales. It's not what you say, it's the way you say it. It's the enthusiasm that you put into it as well. It's not
what you've got.
Yeah.
It's not what you've got. It's how you present what you've got.
Who
you are.
Right, quickly then, let's move on to the third bit of that. Okay. And that third thing was, what is the one thing that you need to do to break out and win? Okay. Now, what would you say that is?
Get off the couch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get off the couch and what?
Get out of your comfort zone, man.
That's the one. Yeah. Get out of your comfort zone.
Stop watching the television.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Mold your own bubble. Don't sit in that bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't move, because we all have bubbles. We all sit in it, and once you're home, you shut the front door. It's very easy just to eat something, chill out on the couch, watch whatever it is in your country. In the UK, it's something like Coronation Street or EastEnders, or and I don't know what it is. What's over in Hungary, but it'd probably be in Hungary. No, precisely, because it's okay. But you see what I'm getting at. Whatever it is you do in your country that may be classed as slightly boring, and but some people, and I know it's different countries, different cultures and things, but in the West, right, which I classify probably as literally UK, USA, Western living, Western civilization, there are a certain percentage of people that have this drive and are willing to get out of their comfort zone. Believe me, I've done it loads of times, and sometimes it really is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The classic example was doing abseiling. The first time you do abseiling, because you have to lean out from the rock like that before you come down, right? So you get used to, leaning back. It's frightening. It is absolutely frightening, and then you manage to get down, and they tell you how to get down, and next time you go to do it, I couldn't wait. When I did it, I couldn't wait to get back up there. Number two, I was bouncing down like a professional. Hey, this is lovely.
At least you thought you were a professional.
Yeah, so dunce to professional in one easy move. It's like so. But then I got my butt slapped and watched people run off the side of a hotel building with a rope going forwards, and did that by literally running, jumping out, coming back, hitting the building, bouncing right off again, and a couple of bounces over down the bottom.
This is what I used to do. That's what I used to do.
I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that good at it.
But that's more fun than abseiling. Seriously, that's more fun than abseiling.
Oh, I'm sure. Look,
it's a lot more fun.
Full marks. Yeah. But it's like watching. It's like watching these people on bikes who go down right from top to bottom, and you. Oh my God! How do they stick to these little paths?
Yeah,
and then they take a jump and land back on another path. I mean, I watched one the other day and it was amazing. But would I ever do that? Absolutely not. Not in a million years.
Have you seen the guys go down the bicycles in the favelas in Brazil and that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. Insane.
But to them, that's normal.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is all the ones that die.
You commented on this top, so if anybody can read backwards, that says firewalker.
Firewalker, yeah.
I've done quite a few firewalks. I've done a number of them. This one was with Tony Robbins, but I did a few prior to doing with Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
The first time I did a firewalk, I was a bit different, to be honest with you. The first time I wasn't that fearful. I was actually very motivated and driven to do it because I had to change the way I was living my life. Really.
Yeah.
I was in that point of necessity, why, and out of my comfort zone all at once. And I did it, but then I became complacent in my life. Once I did my first couple of firewalks, and I started to really change my life. But then I forgot about my why. My why kind of slipped into the background. But yeah, we would do like a 16-foot firewalk, 20-foot firewalk.
All right,
I did a 45-foot firewalk once before.
Yeah.
And it was perfectly fine. There's nothing to it, in my opinion. Yeah, I did 45 feet. I walked across the coals. But most people that they are so overcome by fear when they do the firewalks.
Yeah.
And because the firewalk is an analogy as well. It's all an analogy. It's not an actual. It's really not that dangerous. But
excuse me,
if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is it. You've got to get out of your comfort zone in order to do something like that. Whether you're abseiling, doing a firewalk, rappel jumping. You've got to get out of your comfort zone to do it. Yeah?
Hey, I'm getting out of my comfort zone again. I went on the dating site, and
you Casanova, you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Look! I'm going to show you who I met. I'm joking. Obviously, they don't. She doesn't talk back. She looks great. Doesn't. She's very cheap. I mean, it's like I go to a bar, I just have to buy myself a drink. So
yeah. Only downside is that you're always having a one person meal. You never get to sit down.
Yeah, Billy No Mates meal.
Yeah, Billy No Mates meal.
At least I've got something to talk to. I mean, it's like
you don't get that chat, right?
Right. So what we done? Right. The headline today was what motivates individuals to achieve. It will be totally down to you as an individual, everyone here, what they do, whether they want to achieve or whether they want to be inspired or uninspired. Do they want to achieve something or don't they want to achieve something? So again, you've got to face yourself in the mirror. So the three questions we said right at the start was, what will drive you to stretch for high levels of achievement? And that is necessity. That's the starting point. Okay. But then we move on. What is the one word that matters to you that you should fully focus on? And that is the next stage. The necessity is the why. Okay. The why, the purpose, the outcome. This is what you're going to be, aiming for. And the last one, which is the one thing you need to do to break out and win. But there's obviously lots of things you need to do. Okay. Most of which you will know. But one of the biggest things is getting your butt off the couch, and me and Warren. So we're all the same. And getting out of your comfort zone, and doing something slightly different. Doing things that in the type of hours that are not really conducive to what you've been doing.
It doesn't have to be massive changes. It really doesn't have to be massive.
No, it's not. I'm taking it further than maybe what you need to take it. But basically, you need to do more. You need to do whatever it needs to be done to achieve, your why, your goal, or whatever it is. So that's about it. Warren, before we finish off, is there anything you would like to say?
I just want to reiterate, always keep your why in mind. As Paul said, the necessity is the first thing, but the necessity will come and go. Your getting out of your comfort zone will be an initial thing. That'll be the initiation for you to actually get up and off your ass and do something about it, and put yourself in a position where you're having to implement new things, a new strategy or something new into your life, but it doesn't have to be a major thing. It really doesn't have to be life-threatening, or you don't need to walk away from the people that you know and love. It doesn't have to be that drastic, but get out of your comfort zone and do something that you know is going to impact your life and other people's lives. Make yourself accountable as well. 100% accountable for anything and everything that goes on in your life. If you start to put blame on other people's shoulders, you will never, ever reach the point where you deserve to reach. So keep focused on that why. That why. Really, it is that powerful.
Absolutely.
Take 100% accountability, man.
Absolutely. Accountability is probably one of those things that we'll do another session that we'll do here. But so moving on, it's very, very simple. If you need help, identifying your why, or to take your business to the next level, then come and talk to us. We can help you. So with that, by the way, the email, very simple. It's on successcafe.tv. The email is on there. It's successcafetv@mail.com. But as I say, give us a shout. The phone number's on there as well for you in the UK. And obviously you can text from anywhere in the world. So, and then we'll come back and we'll speak to you, within 24 hours. And we'll go from there. We're always prepared to help people. And so have a fantastic day, the rest of the day and the rest of the week. And we will speak to you on this show next Wednesday. Okay.
So we shall.
We shall. So
as long as we're still here. As long as we're still here.
So as long as long as we are still here, then we will.
There's only two guarantees in life. Only two guarantees. The sun will rise tomorrow, and one day we will die. Besides that, who knows?
And the other thing is we don't know when the meteor is going to hit. But apart from that, right, I don't think I'll worry about it too much because No. Anyway, have a fantastic time. I wish you all the success you're willing to work towards. Let's speak soon.